We think of ourselves as living in the north. Of course, we are in the north of England, but actually we are in the southern half of the British Isles. When George and I moved here, a long time ago, we moved 300 miles south from Aberdeen, and there's a lot more of Scotland to the north of Aberdeen. I mention this because of our very rich Christian history here in the northeast of England. When we're really able to go out again and to explore places, we can visit literally dozens of places around us where Christian history has been made. Our nearest is Mount Grace Priory, where monks kept each their own garden for contemplation and prayer. I have put a few plants in our church porch in honour of them this year. But I'm thinking also of Lindisfarne, where monks from Scotland, from Iona, invited by an ambitious king, founded their community of mission and prayer back in AD 635. And nearer here of Danby in the moors, where the National Park Centre is now. There, in 1850, a curate called John Atkinson was sent from Devon by his southern employer, who owned the land in Danby. He was sent to reform the lives of his tenants. Atkinson stayed for 50 years. In his book, 50 Years in a Country Parish, he tells of the poverty he found, of persuading the landowner to rebuild farmhouses and instill water and drains, of setting up a school, and of founding the Danby Agricultural Show to encourage improved farming methods. My point is that here in the northeast of England, through the centuries, we have been visited and sometimes overrun, and sometimes greatly helped, by people from the north or the south who were competing often for ownership of our land. And also, of course, our places have been competed for by different incomers from the sea too. Hutton and Halton are Anglo-Saxon names. Rudby and Swainby, however, are Viking names. And in the year when we came to live here, a small Viking settlement was being excavated in Rudby. So there are many, many fascinating stories to be told of Christians who have lived and worked here in this contested area of England. May the 20th is the feast day of Alcuin, after whom a college in York University is named. Alcuin was born in York in 732, that is about 100 years after the founding of the Lindisfarne monastery and the coming of Christianity to the northeast of England. He lived in York for 50 years, and then he joined the Emperor Charlemagne to found a school and lead scholarship in Europe at Charlemagne's court in Aachen in northwest Germany. Finally, Alcuin became abbot in the monastery at Tours in France, where he died in 804. Alcuin, from York, was a major scholar and leader of scholarship within the European Church. He was also a writer and a poet, and some of his work survives. Among it is a letter he wrote to the then Bishop of Lindisfarne and his monks in 793, after the monastery in Lindisfarne was attacked by Vikings. This was the first of several Viking attacks on Lindisfarne, and it was the first major Viking attack on what is now Britain. It was devastating. It seemed an attack on a whole civilization and faith. The shockwaves ran throughout northern Europe. Alcuin, from Aachen wrote, this is translated, to the bishop.